You're the first person I thought of. We can chat. Hi. Cassie, thanks for the phone number. Thanks. I know. I don't know we do this, we talked about their insurance, and then they're not going to call it. Well, they're going to do it. They want to do it through robocall, which is better because we don't have to worry about, we still would have to, we don't have to worry about calling each individual. We just have to make sure our employees keep their numbers up to date. So I think that would be great because it's tied to something to say why we want to do it versus just asking. Right. So you're going to do a robocall with the city? Well, it would be the city. No, we're going to do the robocall. But we're going to put it out and say the city is moving to this process. Please make sure your phone number is No. That's not going to work. I was actually trying to. No, that's so great. No, that's interesting. No, that's not. But as part of that, they downloaded numbers out of HRS in preparation of that, which will give us a Wednesday who really doesn't have numbers. So it would be the kind of thing, communication would be saying, check your number to make sure it's accurate, but also if you don't have a number, you need to put it in the system. Good. But that doesn't mean she can't put it in but if she wants to tell me, you can still send an email and tell me that if she needs it for what she's doing, you can tell your staff to put it in and work it. Yeah, I know. She's
Ready? Ready to roll? All right. Could the clerk please call the roll?
Vice President McFadden.
Here.
Councilmember Clifford.
Here.
Councilmember Evans. Councilmember Patterson. President Scott.
Here.
Let the record reflect that we're also joined by Council Members Gruber and Lightfoot. Introductory item number 418, authorizing an mandatory agreement for the Ostroff Associates, Inc. for state lobbying services. Comments or questions?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Introductory item number 419, authorizing an agreement for dental insurance. Comments or questions on this item?
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Item carries. Introductory item number 420, bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $18,795,000 bonds of the said city to finance the cost of improvements for specified city school district schools. Comments or questions on this?
Move it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Against? Motion carries. Introductory item number 421, authorizing an mandatory agreement for organizational design and strategic planning services. Any comments or questions on this item?
Move it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Against? Motion carries. Introductory item number 422, resolution establishing the maximum number of commissioners of deeds. Comments or questions on this?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Introductory item number 455, authorizing administrative tax cancellations and refunds of $1,000 or less for 2019.
I do have a question. Thanks, Vice President McFadden. I just wondered how this total and the percentage lineup compared to previous years. Maybe if we can get the last couple of years worth of amounts.
We will get that for you.
Great, thank you.
Any other comments or questions on this item? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Introductory item number 457, resolution approving appointments to the Board of Assessment Review. Comments or questions on this item?
Move to adopt.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Against? Motion carries. Is there any other business to come before the committee? Hearing none, we are adjourned.
Adam, do you need coats for your for the first in people? I've got about
At this time, I call the Neighborhood and Business Development Committee to order, and I ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Patterson,
Here.
Councilmember Lightfoot,
Present.
Councilmember Ortiz, Vice President McFadden,
Here.
President Scott.
Let the record show that we are joined by everyone else. Hey, Malik. Yo, that's a real problem. That's a consistent problem, it seems. Yeah. Yeah, I don't, we might want to have to address that at some point in time, but I don't doubt it, sir. I don't doubt it. Did you have a very long way to park? Not too far, but I need that. Okay. Well, thank you. Good to have you here. Introductory number 423, authorizing the sale of real estate. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, I need a motion and a second.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item passes. Introductory number 424, authorizing credit bid agreement with the Rochester Land Bank Corporation. Comments, concerns, questions? Seeing none, need a motion and a second.
Move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item passes. Introductory number 425, authorizing a shared service agreement with the Rochester Land Bank Corporation. Comments, concerns, questions? Seeing none, need a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Item passes. Introductory number 426, authorizing a lease agreement for storage at the Port Terminal Building. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, need a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item passes. Introductory number 427, authorizing the mandatory lease agreement for space in the Port Terminal Building. Comments, concerns, questions? Seeing none, motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item passes. Introductory number 428, authorizing agreements to support housing quality improvements and enforcement related to Phase 2 of the Cities for Responsible Investment and Strategic Enforcement Program. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, need a motion and a second.
Move.
All in favor? Aye. Item passes. Introductory number 429, authorizing appropriations and mandatory agreements for application intake services for the city's housing repair program. Comments, concerns, questions? Seeing none, need a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item passes. Introductory number 430, authorizing receipt and use of grant funds and agreements for housing repair programs. We need a motion to amend the legislation to correct the acronym for Affordable Housing Corporation from AFC to AHC. So I need a motion.
Motion to amend legislation to correct acronym for Affordable Housing Corporation from AFC to AHC.
And we need a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we've amended the item. Now, need a motion and a second for the item as amended.
Move the item as amended.
Second. Thank you. All right. And now for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Item passes. Introductory number 431, authorizing receipt and use of grant funds and agreements for the Brownfield Cleanup Revolving Loan Fund Program. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, need a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item passes. Introductory number 432, authorizing the assumption of debt, amending of loan agreements, and payment in lieu of taxes for the St. Bernard's Affordable Senior Rental Development. Questions, comments, and concerns? Councilmember Clifford. Nothing? Cool. Motion and a second.
Move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item passes. Introductory number 433, authorizing the mandatory agreement for planning services for the Bull's Head Revitalization Project. Councilmember McFadden, anything? Okay. Motion and a second?
Move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item passes. Introductory number 434, resolution approving appointments to the City Planning Commission. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item passes. Introductory number 456, local law extending the residential commercial urban exemption program. We need a motion and questions, comments, concerns?
I do, and we've talked about this a little bit, and we've talked about this in the past as well. And I appreciate the answers on what would happen with current agreements if we were not to pass this item this time around, which is they would stay in place. So, you know, we obviously don't have a resolution on this, but I guess from the administration's perspective, how do we know when our downtown investment strategies have been successful enough that we think about adopting some changes and maybe moving some of the same policies into the neighborhoods?
Yeah, I think we can clearly do another study to look at that. I think personally, if you look around, we have a lot of projects. You know, there's a lot of cranes, but we also too have a lot of land still available when you compare it to bigger cities. I think we're a long way off from that, but I think we would have to get whether it's in-house to do a study or externally to do a study to find out where we are. But there is a key that I want to make. You know, the city is not flushed with resources to loan or grant out for any particular project. So we view whether it's a Q program, whether it's working with the state and eventually doing a shelter pilot, as a tool in the toolbox to assist and promote development. Because we can't, you have a $20–30 million project, we might be coming in at $200,000 in a support letter from the administration, but the project is $20 million. That this abatement is going to help promote that. A lot of the projects you see, I just want to pick on the Upper Falls. That project was supported by the state, but also through shelter rent pilot, which was I think a 30-year pilot that we supported. So just a tool in the toolbox, and I think to go further, we'd have to do additional study to find out where we are.
Yeah. I think it's great, the development that we've had. I think, from the look at the occupancy rates, which I appreciate, I think we've had a lot of great success based on a lot of hard work by a lot of people. But as we know, our neighborhoods still don't feel as much of that investment. So, maybe it's just time to look at a little different strategy with the tools that we do have. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Commissioner, I'd like to thank your team for the answers that you provided around this item. I was really happy to hear that we do have the option of expanding this program, and it's my hope that we could start a conversation around expanding this program around the designated opportunity zones that we have.
Yes, definitely open to that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, need a motion and a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item passes. That concludes the business of the Neighborhood and Business Development Committee. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the, 4:25? I guess not. I got 5 minutes.
I will take this opportunity, though. I think, Councilmember Evans, you said that you wanted to be counted as an affirmative vote for the Finance Committee items.
Absolutely. I do want to be counted as an affirmative vote for all the Finance Committee items, and I would just note that I was here at 3:50 circling the parking lot. I probably should have parked earlier, but I want to make sure I'm on the record as being here and voting for all the items that were listed in the Finance Committee.
Thank you. So recorded.
Well, it begs the question. It seems as though it is difficult to park here for council members at these times when we need to come and do work. Why is this so difficult?
I don't know, but I would ask and make a recommendation that on committee meeting dates that there are at least some spots reserved for council members so we can come do the people's business.
Well, I don't think that's unreasonable.
Just because, yeah, because we gotta be able to get here quickly and vote. And so I would ask that we look into trying to rectify that.
It was happening after Councilmember Vice President McFadden brought it up once before at one of our earlier meetings, and then after that it was happening for a little while, and I think somebody just forgot. So maybe it would help if staff would remind security the day of events, President. Maybe that may be helpful.
I think our Chief of Staff has a comment on that.
I was just going to say that I'll have the conversation and get it taken care of.
Yeah, because I think I'm parked illegally in the parking lot just because.
I'm parked
To
illegally
block
too.
them off, so
I'll
we'll get
get a
it
ticket.
blocked off again.
Okay.
Yeah, they were doing it for a while. They probably
Right.
just forgot.
Yeah.
I like that.
Why am I getting a dirty look? I'm not
Yeah.
a United Way giver.
Is it your spot?
I'd like to revisit the public market spot then. If we're revisiting-
Okay, I think we're back on schedule now. Councilmember Evans?
No,
It is 4:25. No, it's 4:20. We need to, I just wanted them to hush.
Trying to shut down the chatter. Anybody know any good Christmas songs?
Okay, Verizon Wireless says that the time is now 4:25 p.m. It's 4:25 p.m. Do you know where your committee members are? I am here now. And I'd like to call the Parks and Public Works Committee meeting to order, and I'd ask that the clerk please call the roll.
Councilmember Evans,
Present.
Councilmember Gruber,
Here.
Councilmember Spall,
Here.
Vice President McFadden,
Here.
President Scott.
Here.
Thank you, and we are joined by all of my colleagues with the exception of Councilmember Ortiz. The first introductory on the agenda is introductory number 435, which is authorizing an amendatory agreement with CNS Engineers, Inc. for the 2018 Preventative Maintenance Group Number 2 project. Any questions, comments, or concerns? May I have a motion?
adopt.
Been moved. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Introductory number 436 is a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $592,000 in bonds of said city to finance certain costs of the 2019 annual parking garage evaluation and repair program. Questions, comments, or concerns? May I have a motion to adopt?
Moved.
Been moved, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, thank you. Introductory number 437 is a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $840,000 in bonds of said city to finance certain costs of the 2019 annual parking garage evaluation and repair program, specifically the South Avenue garage. Questions, comments, or concerns? Move to adopt.
We have a total over the years of what we've expended in that garage. Wow. Maybe it's better not to add it up.
We can provide that to you.
Yeah, just out of curiosity. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you. Introductory number 438 is authorizing agreements for street light system improvements. Questions, comments, or concerns?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Introductory number 439 is authorizing appropriation in the mandatory agreement for design services for the East Henrietta Road Improvement Project, South City Line to Staniel Drive.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Introductory number 440 is amending ordinance number 2017-143, authorizing an agreement to allow the placement of cellular wireless communications equipment on city-owned streetlight poles. Questions, comments, or concerns?
Question.
Question, President Scott.
We had some community outcry when we were putting something on light poles a couple of years ago. Is this
cellular stuff?
Is this the same thing?
This is similar, but these poles that Mobility is putting on have been in the community, and they're well accepted. The Mobility folks go out to our neighborhood groups and they present the designs, and they're all accepted. The issues that we had were with a company called Extonet, and they had a pole that was being rolled out in the Beechwood neighborhood, and the Beechwood folks did not like it. And I had spent a couple nights, late nights, with Kyle Crandall, showing the different light renditions and the actual appliances that were placed out there. So that was a concern early on, but right now we haven't had any pushback from that.
Thank you.
President Scott, they actually formed, remember, Norm, a small subgroup of residents in Beechwood who met and reviewed. I haven't heard a thing about these. I don't know if they might not be, we don't know where they're going yet. Maybe they're not in my district, so I haven't heard if anybody else has either. But that Beechwood group really helped us figure that out, and it was really participatory. So, yeah, thank you.
And I believe, Commissioner, this is going to help as we move to 5G technology. That's what this 440 does.
Absolutely. It will provide enhanced coverage in different areas that doesn't have the capability for 5G LTE to be, or was it LTE to be applied for data and increasing the capacity.
Thank you. Anything else on introductory 440? May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Introductory number 441 is authorizing an agreement extension with New York State Department of Transportation for snow and ice control. Questions, comments, or concerns?
So moved.
It's been moved. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Introductory number 442 is authorizing an agreement for the Arconic Foundation grant. Questions, comments, or concerns? May I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Introductory number 443 is authorizing receipt and use of grant funds and authorizing agreements for the Brownfield Opportunity Area Site Assessment Program. Question? Councilwoman Clifford?
Thank you. Just sort of testing my understanding here. So basically, this is funding to look at specific properties and assess them. So we're adding additional properties that we haven't assessed in the past. Is that correct?
It's properties that we have assessed and properties that we haven't assessed, but it's the level of the actual assessment. Some we've done phase ones, some we're going to be doing phase 2s on. So this is providing us with the ability to go out there and do an enhanced assessment on different properties within those areas.
Gotcha. And are the phase 2s the final phase, or how many more phases are there?
It depends on what you find.
Property, okay.
And what we have here in the city of Rochester is every property, you're going to basically find something, and it depends on the level of contamination. So we're every property that we go into for redevelopment or construction purposes or just to remediate, we expect to find something. But it depends on the level of contamination and what's contaminating that property.
Thank you. I think I was thinking of it as, we're going to do an evaluation of the whole site or the whole area. I wasn't thinking about the fact that it was really property by property. So I appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anything else on 443?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Introductory number 444, authorizing receipt and use of brownfield cleanup grant funds for 121 to 123 Reynolds Street. Questions or comments on 444?
Is that right in the middle of a residential street? I'm just usually, is that unusual, Norm, to have a property right in the middle of it? I know Reynolds, I don't know it as well.
Going back, I'm familiar with Reynolds because I lived on Reynolds years ago.
So it's your fault.
This was a gas station, actually.
Okay.
And there were gas stations all over Rochester.
Yeah.
And across the street was this church in which we had religious instruction. So I am familiar with this area, and it's Reynolds is a minor collector, so it wouldn't be considered a pure residential street, but a collector street.
Well, is it on the corner? Is that
Yes,
one?
it is.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Thank you. So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Introductory number 445, authorizing agreements for service related to hazardous materials management. Questions, comments, or concerns?
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Thank you. Introductory number 446 is authorizing an agreement for energy program support services. Questions, comments, or concerns?
So moved.
Been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Introductory number 447, authorizing an agreement for hydraulic model support services. Questions, comments, concerns? All in favor?
So moved.
Been moved, seconded? Aye. Thank you. Introductory number 448, authorizing an agreement for the management of Blue Cross Arena at the War Memorial in Court Street parking lot and amending user fees. Questions, comments, or concerns on 448?
Can I just
Councilmember
ask,
Clifford.
Thank you. When do we expect to learn about the service fees from the other communities that you're reaching out to?
We've reached out to those different communities, and we expect to hear something from them in the near
Okay,
future.
great. I just wasn't sure if it would be before Tuesday or not, so you'll just get whatever you get
Right.
back to us. Thank you.
Anything else on 448?
So do they manage the lots in all the other properties that they own and they have sports teams on?
I believe they actually manage the parking garage attached to the Harbor Center at Key Bank in Buffalo.
Okay.
And we are here, we're joined by Robert Mentor. He's the Vice President of Operations for the Rochester Amex here as part of School of Sports and Entertainment. And he can answer that if you have any additional questions. But they do have some experience managing parking operations.
Great.
If you can come to the podium, please.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. See if the green light is on. Right in front?
There we go. So we oversee the garage, as Norm said, attached to Harbor Center and leads to Key Bank Center as well. There's also 3 surface lots right outside of the arena that we oversee in Buffalo. So, yeah, to answer your question, we have some experience.
Great.
Yeah.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Anything else on introductory number 448?
So moved?
Is there a second? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, and congratulations to the administration for negotiating this new agreement at the Blue Cross arena. Is there any other business to come before the Parks and Public Works Committee? If there is none, we are adjourned. Thank you. You ever been to Sadie?
I don't think we have any,
Really? I've been to a couple. It's fun.
bond or
Yep, they do.
anything
They're
that
fun.
is gonna be at 5 o'clock, huh?
They are fun, and they although when I go, I'm the only black guy. Last
BJ,
time I
do
went, I think
we
I
don't
saw
have
one
a
other black
5
guy.
o'clock, we don't have a 5 o'clock,
There's one black guy.
we have no public hearings.
Those games were fun. Yeah, King was good, right? Yeah, he's good. But I've been watching the tape because they've had this good season, so they won like 9 in a row.
All of us, but it's like they're shouting it, it's like they're shouting.
But Sabres games are fun. They're fun.
Very, very sad season ticket.
I didn't buy season tickets this year. I'm not going to. I took my flag down.
Tickets on Sunday are literally worth $0. I couldn't sell them on the open market.
That tells you something. I'm not even flying my Bills flag.
Molly, would you like some tickets to the Bills game?
We can get it for $8. The beer costs more. I folded up my flag. It's sad. I have this huge Bills flag I used to fly. Not flying.
So you're going to be around? Turn your boys into Bills fans.
I can't.
Please.
I can't.
Don't let them become like Cowboys.
My sons, both of them are Eagles fans.
Because the last year?
No, he's been an Eagles fan since he's been 2. Because I brought him to a party, right? And they were flying around flying Eagles 5. So he couldn't even talk. Eagles 5. And since then he's been an Eagles fan. And then he brought him a blanket.
How you doing? Nice to meet you.
How you doing? Malik Evans. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but I'm the last council person to go to Amherst.
Yeah.
I was there last week.
All right, yeah. But ask him how many Sabres games has he been.
It's not engineering, but it's something. What's the job is we never had a black person doing it before. I know that. We had a lot of that. Oh, great. Good. Hmm.
Madam President, it looks like it's about that time to call the Public Safety Youth Recreation Committee. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Lightfoot.
Present.
Councilmember Gruber.
Here.
Councilmember Ortiz. Vice President McFadden.
Here.
President Scott.
Here.
Let the record reflect that we are being joined by all our other council members with the exception of Councilwoman Ortiz. Introduction number 449, appropriating funds and amending the 2018-19 budget for Project Clean. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Actually,
Council Member Gruber.
I actually do have one. Just out of curiosity, how are we going to? This is a great project. I've been keeping up with Project Clean. How are we going to evaluate the effectiveness of these walks, of these patrols?
As part of the Project Clean initiative, they have a contract with RIT, and RIT is not only going to be evaluating the walks, but the entire project. And so we'll be getting reports from them on the effects of the strategies and tactics that they're using and if they're effective.
Just one last question while we're on the subject. There was a wonderful event over at St. Michael's for the No Mosque campaign that they were doing a couple weeks back. And I was talking to some of the folks there about the relationship between the Monroe County Sheriff's Department and RPD in terms of patrolling the area. How are we working on some kind of collaborative process for those types of patrols?
So we generally have the way that it works is we generally have a geographic area that the RPD is patrolling in the city of Rochester. They have to have a shared sort of agreement with the sheriff's department to actually allow sheriff's officers into the city to do certain programs. We work very, very well with them on a number of different initiatives. From just a couple weeks ago, a major drug bust hit 10 drug homes in the city in conjunction with the sheriff's department, in conjunction with ATF and the feds and RPD. And so we work collaboratively together, but it's not necessarily that they're allowed to patrol in that particular area. If there's a specific initiative, or whether you're talking about some drug initiative that we're working on, then we do it in conjunction with all of our other partners. But as it pertains to just being having a presence in the area, there has to be an agreement for that, and it doesn't last for long periods of time. It's only for like 2 months or 3 months. We have Project Impact, where we had the state police, the sheriffs, and RPD working together to do some of that. So that's how that works.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
I have a comment. I
Madam
don't
President.
know if any of our staff, whether in Dries or RPD or any place, we're seeing the impact of the heroin epidemic, and it's extreme. It's really appalling. But what I'm hearing and finding about more is it's not heroin, but it is equivalent. The pills, there were 2 young people, 18, 20, 21, within the last, I'm going to say 3 weeks, who died of overdoses, and it was pills. And the thing that really gets me to my core, I haven't heard anybody talk about that, to recognize that Percocet is equivalent to heroin. There's a song, I think it's by Future, Molly Percocet.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just being like, that's okay. So I'm missing that part of the dialogue, that part of the conversation, and what we're doing to try and get in front of it.
Yeah, we are doing a lot. We're including that in the education that we're providing to youth, in all of the preventative work, the use of pills, the use of any sort of drug. But we are targeting the use of pills as a part of our, preventative education. So we don't only just talk about the opioid epidemic in terms of, needles and opioids as you would traditionally think. We're talking about drugs in general, and specifically talking about in targeted programs that reach youth in those neighborhoods about the pills. So that is happening, and also Pathways. They are active in that conversation with youth that they know who are engaging in that behavior. So we are a part of that. Certainly can continue to do more.
Thank you.
May I add something, really? Thank you.
Absolutely, Councilwoman.
So, young people have been dying of oxycodone for years, and it's just so troubling because it doesn't rise because it doesn't feel like a criminal act, but of course it is because someone's dealing in. There's some really good curriculum. One is called Too Good for Drugs. So if we can be helpful, we spend a lot of time at the center in schools with those because it's really a silent killer. It's a very interesting dilemma, and Sometimes it's oxycodone that was somebody else's in the family. And so it's a weird kind of crime, but just so tragic. So if we can be helpful, let me know. Yeah.
Absolutely, thank you.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Introductory number 450, authorizing an intermunicipal agreement with the County of Monroe for funding of firearms instructions. Any questions, comments, and/or concerns? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Introductory passes. Introductory number 451, authorizing an agreement for rock music program. Any questions, comments, and/or concerns? I'll entertain a motion.
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Introductory passes. Introductory number 452, authorizing an agreement and funding for the Comprehensive Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention Program. Any questions, comments, and/or concerns? If not,
President McFadden, I kind of missed that.
going once?
He used to always vote no on this one.
Going twice? You sure? All right. Final. That's your final answer? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Introductory passes unanimously. Introduction number 453, authorizing agreement for Rochester City Soccer League. I'd like to ask a question. Could you just explain to us a little bit about, it's very refreshing to see this because like I grew up in a time where the baseball games were frequent, different sports were very frequent in our community, and it's nice to see this going on. Could you just give us a little bit about the program, please?
Absolutely. This is, at one point we had the Flower City Soccer League around, and when that left our communities, that left families and young people looking outside of our area, outside of the city, to be able to be engaged in the sport of soccer. So being able to reintroduce this program, all age levels, all age brackets, be able to have both clinics, practices, and games, really engaging youth throughout our community. I've been involved in these since we've started the programming, and we have attracted a large number of new families and young families to this program. So it is reinvigorated. We have a number of members of the community who's joined the community from other places in this world where soccer is a major sport, and we're able to offer that in the city now, and that's something that we are really pleased to see back in place.
Do we have adequate volunteers for coaching and things like that?
At this time, yes. Certainly, as the program grows, we will watch that and continue to recruit. But right now, we do.
Councilmember
Patterson, how are you coordinating this with the other two soccer clubs that exist in the city?
Right now, we're getting it off the ground, and we're planning to coordinate in terms of what we can do around competition when our youth are ready. But we have at this point just started with the practice schedule.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Commissioner, I'm wondering if you could give us a list of where they're being held, what our centers are. I don't know if they're all being used. That would just be great. Just a short list. That would be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I can do that.
That's great, by the way. Terrific.
Yeah, I think this is really great. Kudos to you and your staff for putting this together. Arts, music, and sports seem to be alternatives for our youth to the corners and the streets. And on this agenda that we have, we seem to have all three of them incorporated in this particular month, so I'm glad to see that. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? If none, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Need a second? Somebody?
Second.
Anybody? Everybody? Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Introductory passes. Is there any other business to come before the Public Safety, Youth, and Recreation Committee? If none,
Councilmember?
Yes.
If you could just go back to introductory number 452, there was a vote, but there was actually no motion to move or second. So we just need the motion done.
Okay, so introduction number 452, authorizing agreement funding for the Comprehensive Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention Program.
Move.
I need a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Introduction passes. Thank you.
No, Adam seconded.
So if there's no other business, the Public Safety, Youth, and Recreation Committee is adjourned.
So by my watch, it's 4:50. Okay? And I'm going to call the Arts and Cultural Committee to order and ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Spall.
Here.
Councilmember Clifford.
Here.
Councilmember Patterson. Vice President McFadden.
Here.
President Scott.
Here.
Introductory number 454, authorizing an agreement for ticket sales and box office management of city-produced events. There was a question, and it was answered. I don't know if anybody else has any other questions or thoughts.
Move it.
Thank
Second.
you. Moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and I say aye. Motion passes, and we are adjourned, and we don't have public hearings. So, happy Thursday. So Adam, will you text me